That was on my to-do list today, so I'll put on there. Let me turn this off. Let me turn my car off before I kill my battery again. Hi, Cheryl. I am Andrea Runnels. I'm a 5th grade teacher in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. I just finished working out with my trainer, and sometimes I get inspired to do these, like, I don't know, Runnels Real Talk scopes. I did one this morning with my kids doing the jigsaw method for science. Because I did it a little bit differently today, and I tried it with all 3 classes, and that's part of why, like, I feel so good about my day today. But anyways, I'm doing the teacher entrepreneur school, okay, and I was beating myself up yesterday. I was so mad at myself because I literally felt like crap, and I, like, was tired and cranky, and I was like, I feel like I am going to, thank you, I was like, I feel like I suck at life because I am, you know, like, exhausted. I don't feel good, and I don't even want to start this today. So I talked to my accountability partners, and they're like, it's okay, get some rest. And guess what? I got some rest, and sometimes a world of good can come from a good night's sleep. So I set myself up for success. It was painful missing out on whatever scopes and whatever went on last night after 9:30, but I feel so much better. Yay, thank you. Yeah, so what I decided, I was like, I'm not even, how possibly far could I be behind? I'm not that far behind. So what I did is and I didn't even have the stuff printed last night, and I was like, you know what? I'm so excited about this, and I don't want to start feeling bad about myself before it even starts. So I did, like, I purposely scheduled my trainer session at 4:30 so I could stay a little bit late at school and do it. And I did, and I started it, and it's awesome. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm not that far behind, just shut up and do it. But anyways, so I've had my kids do hashtags for science, for microscopes, because let's face it, microscopes are boring as crap, okay? So I have come up with, and plus I love social studies. Social studies is my passion, but I have to teach both. So I did introduce myself, right? Yeah, Andrea Runnels, 5th grade teacher. Anyways, we're departmentalized, and because I'm on a 3-person team, I have to teach science and social studies. And so we adjust our schedule so we have more time for me to teach science. So I've been trying to come up with all kinds of ways to make it interesting for myself, which I realize a lot of the kids do really like science. That's why I made up this, like, build a microscope at home out of, like, common everyday objects for them, and they're excited about that. And it's optional, they don't have to do it, but that's something that I'm looking for a prop out of my lunchbox. But they're excited about that, okay? And so then also I did the jigsaw, and I had them do that for something new, a new kind of content, which what they just had to know, kind of like the history of the microscope, like these inventors that had made improvements on it throughout time. So they didn't have to know, like, every single thing about a person's life. So that method worked really well with new content when they only have a little bit to cover. Not like World War I, like technology of World War I. There's a lot to it. So it's not like they could just do that in 5 minutes. I gave them all, like, and I did this with all 3 of my classes. And my first class is my higher learners, and then it goes like my medium class, and then my last class is my predominantly ESOL. And I hadn't tried that with them at all. And basically I just printed off passages from the internet about these scientists. And some of these people, I can't even pronounce their names. And I don't even know what they're known for. And I really don't care. But I was a little hesitant because they were just, you know, reading. They weren't leveled reading passages. I wasn't sure if they'd be able to read them together. And I gave them a chance, and they did such a great job. And I have kids in there that barely speak English, but they work so well together, and they help each other out that they came back to their groups. And I saw one of them, like, pull out their alphabet boxes that we did yesterday and write stuff down. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what you were supposed to do before I even told you. And then one of them was like, can we make Windows notes for this? And I was like, oh my gosh, something. And he was like, I made a connection between something with the 20s and something. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. And so what has happened is that is my little group that last week, like, and I'm going to get emotional, I did a little talk about, because they have a bad reputation, because they're it's because the blue group, first thing in the morning, they have the focus kids and the gifted kids, which, that's great. Not all of them turn all the work in either. They're not all perfect angels. And my little red group that we have at the end of the day, there's some kids who have behavior problems. That's because they've learned helplessness, because, you know, some of them are ESOL and some of them might have some other issues going on too. I swear one's on the Asperger's scale, but he hasn't been identified. But by golly, he made a freaking 100 on the science test. And I was so proud of him and I bragged it up. But I gave them a pep talk last week. I was like, first of all, I said, ESOL's not special ed. You're not dumb. I said, you guys think you're the dumb class, don't you? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, it just occurred to me, because let's face it, the kids did realize how the classes were grouped. And I guess I was thinking, oh, they're not going to realize how they're grouped. And they did realize it. I mean, I'm sure they'd know, okay, who's on honor roll and whatever, the words program, and who are the smart kids and who are the whatever. But I've been so impressed trying out these strategies I'm learning in my gifted endorsement with all my classes. Kind of like trying out strategies I learned in my ESOL endorsement with all classes. They're just best practices. And I was so proud of that group. And actually, the way I'm doing my behavior system right now, and you know, it's costing me money every week and I don't give a crap. It's worth it. Every time there's an interruption in instruction, I do a tally. And whoever has the least amount of tallies at the end of the week out of 3 classes wins. Okay, the first week there was a tie, and so I ended up having to buy Little Debbie's for 2 classes. Last week it was like the middle group had like 2, the first group had like 1, and then the red group, they had 13 points. And so I was like, I erased their name. I was like, you guys are out of this contest. You're not doing it. And I thought about, you know, not even trying that with them this week. And I was like, they probably feel hopeless. And so what I did yesterday is I started it over. And I had some of them stay inside at recess that normally, like, they might not be the behavior problem, but they're kind of followers. And so I was trying to prove a point. And you bet yesterday in class, they were listening. They got it. They knew Miss Runnels meant business. And so I think that made a difference. I don't like taking away recess, but sometimes, what can I do? I can't spank them. So I only have so many options, especially when you don't do your work. That one gets me. I don't care if you talk, as long as you get your work done. But that's not the case with most of them. So that just made me so happy that, you know, I started over. They felt so good. And what I did is the few kids that were acting up, I just wrote their name. I was like, they're out of the game. Exactly. I was like, you're out of the game, but you can get back in the game. So if your class wins and they get a prize, you don't get it. And so the rest of them were, you know, still motivated to try, because let's face it, once they got 13 points and the other classes had 1 or 2, they're like, you know, it's over for us. So I tried to start over with them. And then I was so proud of them. I was doing like a preview of the Roaring 20s, and I asked them, I was like, you know, have you guys heard of Henry Ford, blah blah, have you heard of Lindbergh? And they had heard of them. I was like, what? I said, nobody else had even heard of Charles Lindbergh all day today. And the other class I had to be like, Ford, have you heard of Ford? So I was really trying to pump them up and get them, you know, build their confidence, because a lot of them, it really is a language issue, but a lot of teachers don't understand that, and they don't modify work. And so, and I even have teachers in my team that I work with, a math and language arts teacher. I'm like, why does this child have U's? They're level 2 ESOL. That means they're 1 step up from a beginner. They shouldn't have U's on their report card. They're like, oh, I didn't realize. I'm like, that's what happens. Teachers just, they will give them U's on stuff and they don't even realize what the issue is. And so, like I said, and honestly, I want to teach ESOL next year. I don't want to be in the regular classroom anymore. I'm done. I'm done. So that's really what I'm passionate about. But, so like I said, if you have a behavior problem, or if you have a kid, honestly, every day I told them, I was like, let me be honest with you guys. When you guys come to my class, I'm like, oh great, here comes the red group. And I said, I didn't feel like that. I don't feel like that right now. I feel like I'm excited for you guys to be in here. And I said, that is a great thing. And I said, keep that momentum. And I was so proud of them that they were able to do, hey Tania, that they were able to do that jigsaw and teach each other. They wrote down more notes than any of the other groups. And so I was really, really proud of them. They worked really well together. And I told them all to come up with hashtags for the different scientists. And I took a picture of their hashtags and I'll put it on Instagram. And I said, it can't be their name. It needs to be like the significance of what they did. Okay. And like I said, younger kids probably wouldn't understand this, but with 5th grade, you got to keep on it. You would have thought that, like, I made their world. I made their galaxy today by playing music from Great Gatsby. And I'll talk about what I did for Roaring 20s intro another time when I have my computer or whatever. But I don't know who left this on my desk, but honestly, it really made my day. Well, I don't have a desk, my table. It made my day. Okay, they were doing, I said, get an index card, you can decorate it for a hashtag for whatever. And then somebody, they spelled my name wrong, and they spelled awesome wrong, but they left this on my table. It says Runnels Awesome. And that just, like, it just made my day. I was like, I don't even know who wrote it. I have a few guesses, but, you know, it's funny how one little gesture that a kid did would just make me so happy and feel so good. So it just makes me think, you know, I'm just really trying to, these little small gestures that make a difference to kids. I don't know if you guys watched John from the Color Red Scope yesterday. And I loved what he did. He did this thing where he just highlights kids' sentences when they're writing, and he calls them golden lines. And all he does is highlight them with a yellow highlighter. And he's like, the kids really, really love that recognition. So it's just these little, I mean, 5th graders still have stickers. So it's like just the smallest gestures. If a kid giving me this on my table meant the world to me, then imagine what, you know, a kind word or, you know, just even a sticker or a great job, or, you know, that one kid who doesn't do as well and he made 100 on a science test, I was bragging to everybody. You know, my kids that stepped out of their comfort zone and sang over there, 5th grade boys, I have made the biggest deal out of it. And my class in the middle of the day, because I scoped with a different class today than I did last time, they felt so proud. They were like, because I told them, I was like, I'm picking you guys to be, you know, on here broadcasting, and they felt so good about it. And they did that activity with like 15 minutes of preparation. So I was really proud, and I was like, do you guys like this? And I was like, your alternative would have been a worksheet. And they were like, this is so fun. And they learned too. So just don't be afraid to try different things. And not be normal. Be a misfit. It's okay. Be a misfit as long as you're teaching the curriculum. Don't be a misfit and go off on tangents and not teach what you're supposed to. But anyways, you guys are all hashtag awesome. Thank you for watching. Make sure you find a balance. Don't beat yourself up if you have to actually rest and go to bed early sometime instead of doing something that you think you should be doing, because I'm so motivated to work on my business right now. I have so many products in motion. If I did TBT Life on Saturday at 3, and I was like, my real TBT life would have been me working on 5 projects at once, along with a blog post, along with something else, like literally pulled up on the screen at the same time. But I gave you the scripted reality show. So I thought I might hurt people's brains if they saw how I really worked, because my brain's all over the place. But thank you for watching. Make sure you're finding balance and you're taking care of yourself, because I can't take over the world of social studies and, you know, modifying social studies for gifted learners and ESOL people if I'm sick. So take care of yourself. Thank you for watching. And you are hashtag awesome too. Have a great day. You too. Bye-bye.